everybody. I have yet to figure out the lag time. It's either 10 seconds or it's 20. So we're at 12 seconds, 13 seconds. Who joins in first? We'll see. All right. Anyways, I'm sure it doesn't lag past 20 seconds. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is a public stream for live Q&A for EVA foam versus carpet. It's kind of a big. It's a question that I get a lot, and so I'm trying to answer these questions now in live stream. And I just want to continue that live stream Q&A because, for one, I can just talk about the subject, and then anybody who has a last minute question in the comment section, what's going on, Kenny, can go ahead and pop in, and I'll be reviewing those before I end the video. That way I get it all. It seems like when I pre-stage and I pre-answer these questions, somebody's like, well, you still didn't answer this and answer this and answer this. We'll just go on. But anyways, I did want to talk about this. This is a fairly good topic. How good is carpet? How good is bass boat carpet? How good is EVA foam? Is carpet the old thing and is it old and out of its way? Is EVA foam taken over? Or is EVA foam kind of overrated? And obviously, you've been seeing us do nothing but EVA foam lately. And I will tell you, I will self-admit, it's just because it looks really cool. Does it absolutely outperform carpet? No. In fact, I think this Q&A will be maybe fairly short. We'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both, but if you want like a straight jack to the whatever you just want that answer, EVA foam is not better than carpet in terms of durability or longevity. It just doesn't even come close. I mean, for F's sake, it's foam, but it is still nice, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about the boat carpet. So if you're getting like 220 ounce or 24 ounce carpet, or just even like the 16 ounce marine carpet, like the snagless stuff, that stuff is pretty nice. It's very robust. It takes a lot for it to get dirty. If you do get it dirty, you can just pressure wash it lightly out or spray it out with a hose. And it's very durable. I remember one time I took a hole saw to a carpet panel so I could put a little live scope hole in there, and I put it in there, and I held back out because I didn't want to go all the way through, and I vacuumed it. I vacuumed all the the sawdust from the hole saw cutting through the carpet into the wood panel. And you couldn't even tell I took a hole saw to the carpet. So you go take a hole saw to EVA foam, you'll immediately know. Absolutely. You even just scrape your key or your hook on EVA foam, you'll immediately know. Unless it's camo foam, you're it shows. It shows. So 20 ounce carpet, absolutely still the most durable thing. By far. By far. 24 ounce carpet, I think, is a little bit harder, it's a little bit more comfortable. Now, if you get like padded foam carpet, I don't really know anything that's going to beat that. So let's talk about, obviously we talked about some of the strengths of carpet, other than that it does look fairly nice. Let's talk about some of the weaknesses. For one, it gets hot. It does. Carpet does not dissipate heat very fast. It gets a lot hotter than EVA foam. That's probably maybe one of the bigger reasons I stay with EVA foam, but that's more climate specific for me. It might not even be a real big issue for you, especially if it doesn't get too much over 100 wherever you're at. Carpets are fine, but over here it gets like 110, 120. It's just miserable. Just try and stand barefooted on carpet when it's that hot. Even at 90, it gets a little hot. But an EVA foam is substantially cooler than the carpet on almost all purposes. And if you double wall EVA foam on the top of your deck and in the bottom of the compartment, it does actually help with heat dissipation if that's an issue. And carpet just doesn't do any of that. Carpet is, I don't really know how well padded foam carpet would do in terms of heat dissipation from like heat from the sun transferring through the lid, but I'll tell you, just EVA foam by itself is pretty good. And there's different qualities. I've used everything from the cheapest Amazon EVA foam stuff, which I have my entire boat decked with, all the way to the more advanced hydroturf and C-Deck and Orthodeck. Orthodeck being probably the best, and it does all right. There's certain colors that really do much better if you are not wanting to keep it squeaky clean all the time, if you're a little bit rough to your boat, especially if you have like a duck boat or you're taking it out hunting. You definitely want a camo color or a mocha color. We put that mocha black color or mocha gray color on Nick's V18, and we saw it the other week. He's had that for over a year, and he has never washed it once. It still looks great. My boat's got that real light gray. I gotta wash that thing every time or it looks like dog doo-doo. It just doesn't look good. So it is very touchy. It gets dirty very fast, but it also cleans fairly good. What it doesn't like, the stuff that I find out that gets on EVA foam and doesn't come out at all really good is like the fish attractants or any sort of oil. So if you eat like potato chips and some of that got on like the EVA foam, it does not want to come out. It like some sort of like the oil stains it. The oil does stain the EVA foam. And the oil in that bait mate fish attractant, I've gotten that on the EVA foam. It does stain the EVA foam. So you can wash it lightly. I would not recommend. I've heard people using pressure washers on the EVA foam. I personally wouldn't do that. I don't think it's terribly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that go wrong there. But I will take Dawn soap and I will take like a not so abrasive cleaning rug and go over it. And if it does get bad, you can take an abrasive, a little bit more abrasive brush to it, like a scrub brush that you would scrub your tires with or your car, like that. And you can, but you gotta be careful because you will start taking layers of it off. It does wear out though. I would not leave your EVA foam kit in the sun. I think it would go to crap pretty quickly. I think carpet also goes to crap in the sun pretty quickly, although it'll outlast the EVA foam. No matter what you do, you gotta take care of it. Like get a cover. You go to Harbor Freight, get a little $16 cover, and I know it's only gonna last a few weeks in the serious hot sun. Go get another one. Just keep getting them until you find like a nice cover. And I know even nice covers only last maybe a year or a few seasons, but I don't know. It's a super big pain either way. Either way, whether or not you just turf the boat or you carpet the boat, it's a huge pain to do both. It's one of the most strenuous tasks you're gonna have doing it. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got for comments. All right. What's better cushion on the feet? Oh yeah, that's a good question. Glad you chimed in there, Clay. EVA foam is way better on the feet. Even like the cheap crap from Amazon, which is only like, I think a 1/4 inch thick or 3/16 inch thick, that stuff is substantially better on your feet. And that might be my bigger thing about it, because the older I get, the more my feet hurt when I stand on there longer. It's just life, and that is actually a lot better. I love EVA foam for the feet. Chris Robert, what's going on, Chris? How are you? What are the best coat covers? I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I'll have to look into that. I have a cover on that I use for my boat on occasion. It doesn't fit anymore because I stuck too much crap on it. But I don't know. I have to look into that. If I find one, I'll put it in the link, though, for sure. That's a good question. I'm unprepared for that question, though, for sure. All right. What else do we got here? All right. Let's go on, Sycamore. How are you? Okay. Well, I think we got through most of the questions. We got spammed by Kenny pretty good here. No spam in the chat, please. You should run people off here. Any last minute questions before we blow out of here? That's my overall consensus. Either way, I mean, you just got to figure out which are the weaknesses that you care about. To me, I'm generally a utilitarian person over looks and that course, but the fact that the EVA foam just dissipates the heat so much better, and it's much more cushiony by itself, I mean, that kind of does it for me. So that allows me to forego the fact that it's not so durable and that it does get dirty faster and that I will have to replace it much sooner. The fact that it's just cushy and very heat dissipating, that kind of those are more important. So I guess if that's not very important to you, then carpet is definitely the way to go. Absolutely the way to go. Also, if you're in super dense climates, carpet, it is known that it stinks. It starts to mildew and stink, depending on the harsh climate, or if you take it. I know some friends who had bass boats and took them duck boat fishing or like hunting, and got all kinds of mud and swamp water on their boat that was carpeted, and that didn't go too well for them longevity wise, and so you have to worry about those things too. It's a thing. Yes, this will get uploaded. All the lives now that all the lives now that I do for Q&A, they're going to be uploaded to the Q&A playlist. So everybody just has. I'm just trying to get these these Q&A videos going. All right. It's not a big deal, Jake. If you guys missed most of the live stream here, it gets uploaded right after I'm done. It's actually a pretty sweet deal. Like if you just wanted to do like content for YouTube, you just go live and then YouTube automatically uploads it, and that's your video. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. It's not the most flashy or whatever video, but as long as you're comfortable in front of the camera, it don't really matter. Oh, snagging issues for sure. The carpet's better. In fact, my boat's not completely EVA foamed out. It's got two of the front panels I have where my reels sit, and then obviously I have my lure attached to my reel somewhere, and so my lures and the reels sit there, and the rest of the rods lay across the EVA foam. But I'm super paranoid about obviously a 4-aught treble hook digging into the EVA foam. It shows forever. When you scar the EVA foam, it's there forever. It's an eyesore until your body just gets used to looking at it. There's no longer an eyesore, but until then, it's gonna say, "Hey, look at me, I'm here." The minute you step on your boat, something, anything, a rock on your shoe, you also got to think about that. Like your shoes, it's like they're a magnet for the EVA foam getting dirty. So if you're a little bit more paranoid about your boat getting dirty, you're not gonna be. And you don't want to have to deal with that. Like, if that's a big stress, get the darker color. Get the mocha color, or get a darker gray color, or get the camo. The camo does fantastic in not showing that much dirt. And it's actually it's very easy to clean too. We have also, just real quick, on our site we have stopped selling HydroTurf for the moment. We've almost stopped selling it completely because they have serious problems. HydroTurf got bought out by Marine Mat, and that has caused us a lot of problems. Before HydroTurf did that, it was great. And now that Marine Mat bought it, they complicated a lot of things. They're just complicating it up. And I don't know. I get it. It's like, you buy up other companies to squash competition and grow yourself, but like they really kind of screwed that up because HydroTurf had some good stuff, and it's like super hard to get now. It's backed up, and we're figuring it out. But right now, like, we're back in Orthodeck. I think Orthodeck's better foam anyways. It is more expensive, but it's better. And then we're also trying to find other people who are not flakes. I can say that. Oh, it is what it is. That's what we're talking about here. All right, let me get a few more of these questions here. And I hope, at least for most of the live, that I have... what's the best way to get EVA foam off? Xylene. I would say an oscillating tool with a non-abrasive scraper blade, and then Xylene. Very, very light amounts of Xylene. I mean, you obviously don't want that stuff leaking into your hatches, but you gotta pour a little bit there. That just eats away the adhesive. It scrapes it off. Xylene's the best way to get carpet glue off and any sort of real adhesive off. Xylene just takes it off. If you guys are wondering, Xylene is the end-all be-all, and you can thank Nate Echolt for letting us all know that. And let me see. People start pouring in the questions. Sweet. All right. How did catfish slime? With regular slime, it hasn't been a problem. The EVA foam does clean. It gets dirty really quick, but it cleans pretty good. Like I said, it's got to be oily for it to kind of stain the EVA. I just found the only thing I found that stains the EVA foam, and I've got everything on it, like everything, like tar, crud from the street, fish slime, somebody's gum I stepped on. It got where. And the only thing I found out was the grease from the potato chips and the grease or the oil stuff that comes from the stupid bait mate sprayer thing. That stuff would not come out of the foam, and that's the only thing I know that stains it. But we put a lot of stuff out on there, so I think if you do a catfish boat, like the camo turf, that stuff works fantastic. And we actually have this camo turf from Orthodeck on our site that it's like shiny. It's not like real spongy or satinish. It's like that stuff I would think is probably very, very robust to being stained at all because it's got more of a glossy sealed finish on the outside. So I mean, if I was gonna do a roughneck catfish, but I would use that camo foam. I would really consider using that if you're just trying to do that. That stuff's great. We have some. And if I'd have thought a little bit further through instead of just impulsively doing this video, I would have brought you stuff to see. So maybe later on in an official video we'll have some cutout stuff. But we do have it on our site. If you go to TBNation.net, you can see everything we got. All right, let me look here. Miss most life for saltwater, dude. EVA foam is super heavily favored on saltwater. That's one thing EVA foam has on carpet. Carpet does not do good in saltwater. Like I wouldn't even. Nope. EVA foam, I think, rules the land there. EVA foam and very, very, very high quality rubber matting like Gator Guards rules the land on the saltwater platform for flats boats. You never see a flats boat with carpet. I've never seen one. They're either like imprinted texture into the gel coat when they paint it. It's like imprinted, so it's got its own natural non-skid, or there's foam, or there's rubber matting. But I'd say that the rubber foam I think would do great for a flats boat. I would love to do. In fact, I've done that, and some people have done it. If you checked out Fuming Boats on Instagram, he's got some where he's done that. All right, wow, you guys start pouring the questions. Sweet, more people join. Super awkward time of the day. Some people comment. How's the audio? I have this like crazy mic plugged into my phone, streaming from the phone because it's too much crap to get a camera and a cam link. What a bunch of BS some of these streamers go through. I mean, the streams look legit, but I mean, I'm just gonna rock it. I'm not getting any more cameras. What a crap show. I went down the rabbit hole of buying like these high-end cameras for YouTube. What a shit show. I hope that doesn't get me demonetized, but you know, right now I'm streaming from an iPhone. The iPhone doesn't give me any problems. It just streams forever. Okay. So John R. Last live chat, you talked about certain aluminum hulls being... Yeah. John, the 5052 aluminum is marine grade. It's softer and it's meant to bend but not tear. So that's marine grade. And so I know that's what it's specifically, that's why it's marine grade for the hull. Because if it hits a log or it hits a rock, or if it gets dropped, like you've seen some videos where people just like drop the whole hull off like from the ceiling on the floor in like a shop or a garage, and it's all bent and mangled and deformed, but no tears. So that's why. And there's a certain year of, I don't know when they made the transition to where that was a mandate, but I know pre-2000s or pre-1990s, you're taking a risk. Unless you can find data on those boats. And there were so many different boat companies before Johnny Morris came and scooped up the entire pile and did his own thing with them that, I just don't know if you're even going to find those specs, but I'm sure they're somewhere. On some forum way out there 20 years ago, somebody has a post on the specs of whatever boat it is that you are, like, seeking. All right. Luke. How are you? Luke J. How much would you say building a subfloor and putting a sea deck is a 16-foot boat costs? How big is the subfloor? I mean, 4x6, 4x4, not very much. Sea deck and EVA foam by themselves aren't really terribly expensive. If you get like the pre-routed sheets or just the straight textured camoed sheets or whatever, those are not very expensive. Where sea deck and hydroturf and marine mat all get very expensive is when you get the custom kits. We'll be showing you how to do that later too, if that's something you absolutely have. Like, you see Mike Iaconelli's boat, or you see some of these higher-end bass boats. What's that guy that's really good at swim baiting? I don't know what his name is, but he's huge. Whatever his name is. But he's got, like, a bass boat, and it's all, like, teak decked out. He called it, like, the Dream Machine. Oh, he did a tiny boat, too. That's not... But he also has, like, a regular bass boat that's all, like, sea decked out. That stuff is, like, thousands of dollars, $4,000 or $5,000 for the kit. $5,000 extra for like a boat. If you already combined it like a $60,000 bass boat and you want EVA foam on it, it's like $6,000. Ain't no joke. It's worse the bigger on the boat. But the actual sea deck by itself, like the line turf, is not that bad. We're talking about really if you that's another thing in terms of cost. Which one costs more? Which is more cost effective? I think it's very, very comparable either way, unless you're going the super custom EVA foam route to like show off. In that case, it gets a little expensive, but straight cut, it's not much more either way. You're either putting more time and more effort in carpeting the boat versus less time. I don't know what you guys consider like true cost. It's money or time. For me, I got more money than I have time. I think all of us, maybe, that's my mentality. So like sometimes I'll spend more to save time. I say that because I'm also older. Some of you guys, and gals out there, probably young and willing to put up with it. me see. You have 1983 Smokercraft. That's a nice boat. I think that's what I have. Why not carbon fiber compared to aluminum? I mean, there's so many reasons. Carbon fiber is not very DIY friendly. That's like the bigger reason. And Fumin, you came on. Fumin's here. Yeah, Fumin, you started uploading YouTube videos yet? All right. Yeah, and I agree with Fumin. He left some pretty good comments down here. Look at what he said here. What about spraying foam with like Rain-X or windshields? Oh, Rain-X for windshield. Spraying the foam with Rain-X. You know, I don't really know how that's going to go. I'll be honest, Alan. I've never tried it, and I honestly don't have the guts to try that. But if you do, let me know how it goes. Hit me up on Instagram and let me know, hey, it works, or hey. But I think Rain-X never really worked that good on windshields either. It worked really good, and then after that, it was like it smudged, and you had to wash it off. And then I think Rain-X was kind of a gimmick, more of a gimmick. It was like a one-time wonder, and then it didn't work for long term. So I wouldn't put Rain-X on anything, not even windshields. All right. Josh, what's going on? Joshua Usry? I hope I didn't bust your name. You know your last name over here. Let me see. Going to try EVA foam for the flat and vinyl for the vertical walls. Very good. There, we should have talked about vinyl. Vinyl sucks. It is pretty useless. The only thing that vinyl is good for is it looks good. Marine vinyl sucks to stand on. It gets hot. It's just slightly more durable than carpet. Well, I don't even know if it's more durable than carpet. I have seen it fade and look like crap. But for sidewalls in like the inner workings of your boat, like if you just need something cheap to kind of lay down that looks decent, the only quality that marine vinyl provides to you is that it just looks decent for a fair price. That's it. Other than that, marine vinyl sucks. That's why I didn't even include it in this conversation, but I'm glad somebody mentioned about it. It's very perfect. It's perfect for sidewalls and in the inside, like inside of rod lock or inside of like hatches. Marine vinyl is actually really nice. So, looking, not maybe performance-wise, but you really, if it's inside the hatch, it's fine. You don't have to worry about performance stuff. Let me see. All right. What about the heat? What product stays cooler? If you're in Laughlin, Nevada, EVA foam will be your friend. EVA foam stays cooler. Absolutely. We did cover that earlier, but obviously this stream's going on 22 minutes, so yeah, it's all right. So from JDS Outdoors, would you ever in the future do a restoration? You know, fiberglass bass boats are, I talked about this in a live thing maybe a few days ago. I got a lot of questions about that. Fiberglass bass boats, there's only certain years where any of them are actually even DIY friendly. Most of them are put together like this. You ever follow Brian Latimer? He did a pretty extensive view about his Falcon bass boat. He documented the whole process of it getting built. And they had the thing apart. They put it together to see if it worked. They pulled it apart, like top and bottom. Then they rigged it while it was like in the air. And then they put it back together. So they could bypass all the convolution and all the weird stuff that happened in the mold. You just don't have that. You don't have that luxury to really go back in there and use fish tape to run wires and undo stuff or make mods without doing some pretty extensive rework and damage. I think it would be a real crap show. I don't know if it's really worth it. I would like to get a bass boat and possibly tell you how to spruce it up a little bit. But in terms of like doing serious boat outfitting, like redefining your entire boat completely, aluminum is the way to go. Aluminum is absolutely the way to go. The only way I could see like doing something like that for a fiberglass boat is if the fiberglass hull is like pretty bare bones, like a Carolina skiff, or if you cold roll or cold mold a fiberglass boat. We did talk about that, I think maybe earlier in the stream, or it was in another stream. I just streamed on Facebook and Instagram too before I came here, but that's also a thing. And actually, if you check out Fishing with Timmy Turtle, I don't really know if he's doing too many YouTube videos anymore, but he's got pretty big. He's out of Australia. Him and his little buddy, like they all had like micro skiffs that they cold rolled out of fiberglass, and they might not have been the most advanced skiffs in the world, but they came out pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. It was like a big gigantic like he didn't even have a seat. He was like holding on to like a rope and holding on to the tillers, kind of riding it like a gigantic paddleboard. He got like a marlin. It was sweet. I don't know. You gotta look it up. You gotta look it up if you got any time. Yeah, I know everybody's busy. We'll see. Recommend any trailer wheel bearings. Tractor Supply. I mean, they'll sell them. I don't know if they're universal bearings. I think to me, bearings are bearings. It's more about the marine grease. Like, make sure you get the marine grease, the green stuff. I mean, they sell like regular grease and then marine grease. Like, why would you sell anything else other than marine grease? It doesn't make sense. They're like the same price. I don't know. Things to think about. All right, Josh. Okay. All right. Let me see what we got here. E&E Bates. What's going on, man? How are you? What about? Oh, you already answered. Okay. All right. JVB Outdoors again. Would you? Okay. All right. All right. I answered everybody's question. It's kind of the screen kind of jarred. Okay. Very cool. All right. Am I getting a welder? I do have a welder. I got to get the argon tank. Eventually, Nick, I'm going to get my stuff together and start to weld because I will have nothing else to do. I just have so much, and welding is not on my priority. It's like number 6 or 7 on priority things I got to do. I got when welding makes it to number 2 or 3 in my priority list, which I can see it happening in the next few months, but just right now, I don't know. I focus more on DIY friendly. My bigger purpose, I guess, is that I want to empower smart people, very smart mechanically inclined individuals or creative individuals with basic tools out of the garage to be able to build something like this. So it's very, very smartly but friendly done. And so just welding is there's a lot of substantial investment to go into a welder. It's just not something that even the average DIYer who's very smart and mechanically inclined can just go and do. Like, it takes time. Like, you got to be a serious DIYer to go on. I mean, obviously, that's where we're going with this channel and with my other channels. But the average DIYer does not have a welder. It has I don't know. That's like really going out there. Like, you want to do everything by yourself. But right now, rivets do all right. Rivets do okay. Keep it riveting for a minute. And contact cement also. Oh, let me talk about that. That's a good question. Let me see. 5 million more questions. Not that many, but more questions explode. Let me see. Tony Duran, how's it going? Trolling motor 24 volt system or 12 volts? I would do 24 volt. I mean, 24 volts going to give you a lot more substantial results. I would say 24 volt minimum, unless you have a very small boat that a 55-pound motor can pull really well. I don't really see it. A 55-pound trolling motor, that's generally the max you can find from a 12 volt setup. I don't see that doing very well for any boat bigger than a 14-foot boat. Like, I have a 15.5 foot smoker craft, and I had a Minn Kota Edge 55 on it. And other than it was super quiet and you could creep up on the fish, it was pretty useless in the wind and in strong waves. Like, it couldn't pull the boat. And then when you see those like 17 and 18 foot bass trackers, 19 foot bass trackers, like outfitted with like a Minn Kota Edge 45 or a 55, I'm like, man, you can't be serious. Like, I would never run a 12 foot boat. I would never run a 12 volt trolling motor on anything that big, let alone a 16 foot John boat. I think 16 foot John boat's seriously pushing it for 55 inch. So, let me see what I got here. Okay, from Lonnie. How's it going, Lonnie Simmons? Doing EVA foam on the console area, flooring, and leaving the front deck. Stupid thing's shaking. Right. Padded carpet. Hard to beat. A padded floor to stand on for sure. Yes. For an 8-hour tournament, absolutely. I don't even like standing 4 hours and nothing that's padded. But I'm old, getting older. So, all right. Colin Hughes, do you think an electric or cable-driven trolling motor is better? I absolutely hate the Minn Kota power drive. I really didn't like the Edge. I didn't think I could hate a trolling motor more than I hated the Edge. But I really hate the power drive. I think the power drive is the stupidest trolling motor ever. I can't really see using a power drive unless you just need an entry-level trolling motor and you got like a walleye boat or something where you really need to put the foot pedal way back. I'm not sure if you can upgrade a power drive with a remote steer like you can the Motor Guide X3 motors. You can actually upgrade it to an XI3 and use the remote. I think the Motor Guide XI3 honestly is very, very much like the Minn Kota power drive, but it's like a lot better. You can actually put spot lock and turn it around. I think an electronic steer trolling motor without spot lock is seriously just a painful experience. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get any electronic steer trolling motor without spot lock. If there's no spot lock, get the cable steer. You'll be happier. It'll be more responsive. You'll just, and I mean, I don't know. You have to adapt. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. If you don't have any experience with the power drive and you're the power drive or the Edge, get the Edge. Get the Edge. Get the Edge. The Edge is not the greatest motor either, but it's probably the best budget-friendly motor. It's the most common. It's in Walmart's, and it'll do all right as long as you're not mean to it. I'm fairly mean to my boats, though. I broke 3 edges in a year. Got a sour taste in my mouth, but in the end of the day, if I probably was nicer to them, they probably would still have one. All right. Let me see. Would you add contact cement edges to the foam? The 3M backing on the foam is fantastic. The only reason you would have to add contact cement is if you got non-3M backing foam, and that is often an option. And people get sheets of EVA foam for cheaper. What is my opinion on Nautilus? Like the marine vinyl? I don't know if I've ever used it. I have a general consensus about marine vinyl in general. I don't really, it's not biased toward any company. I don't think it's that great. But it comes in handy. Like I think for sidewalls and the inner lining of compartments, I think marine vinyl is really good. I don't think it does very good for decks at all. I think it's actually pretty, unless you got like nothing else going on and you absolutely need a more waterproof solution to carpet that won't mildew, then I think marine vinyl might have an edge there. But other than that, I would definitely choose EVA foam over marine vinyl like all day. All day. Am I doing a 10K giveaway like building subscriber vote? We'll see, Alan. We'll be doing some stuff. We'll be doing giveaways though, because we approached the 1-year anniversary here where I went full-time YouTube, and a lot of us went full-time about a year ago. And because of you guys, it's been successful for us. So we will definitely be giving away some very good giveaways, and I'll be updating all of you on that in videos and likely in live streams where we will do the bigger thing, and that'll all be coming here pretty soon. That'll be a bigger thing. Have I hit 100 yet? I don't know. No, I have not. I think I'm like 8,000 off. But to me, this channel is, and lasting subscribers are not really important to this channel. It's channel views that are important. So I'll find somebody with 200-300K like subscribers, and they don't actually have as many channel views as this channel. So it's always about channel views and like distribution of actual knowledge, dissemination of your videos, and people watching them. That's the most important thing. I think that my audience, my general audience, just simply doesn't care to get a Google account or subscribe like fanboys to like my channel. Some do, and I appreciate that. I mean, once I get the 100K plaque, that's really all that 100K subscribers is good for to me. But some channels are absolutely, definitely dependent on subscribers. Like their subscriber count absolutely correlates with their revenue from YouTube coming through. Just not here. Not here. I can have a fairly low subscriber count. I went full time with a fairly low subscriber count. Yeah, so 100K coming up, and then once it does, some things change for me, but nothing really changes for me between 100K and 1 million subscribers. So once it's 100K, that's all I really care about. Everything else is just like icing on the cake and possibly some bragging rights. Not real worried about subs though. Worried about views and worried about following and worried about the influence. And hopefully with more lives like this, more questions answered and more stuff done, and definitely more giveaways of stuff, we'll grow that up. Hey guys, you got anything else? Love these Q&As. Always love the YouTube audience. So many questions. I go on like the Facebook live stream, crickets. I'm like, questions? They got stuff to say, but they don't. And then like the Instagram sometimes. But you guys are always pretty active and engaged. Appreciate it. All right. And last question for Colin. And then I'm going to blow out of here after that for Colin. Okay. Worth it to build out a 1448 tracker? A Grizzly or a Lowy Roughneck, those are hard boats to build out. Like super mild short mods. But those hulls are really thick. The decks are really thick. It's very hard to cut those and manipulate those. People do it. I mean, the gunnels are also very thick. It's like a double walled boat. Like a double hull. So I mean the margin for actually modding a Grizzly or a Roughneck or any sort of like, thicker John boat like that is the absolute tight space, even though the boat's fairly big. People still do it, but I wouldn't really go too all out on it unless that's your only option. You're really in some deep swamp. But people in like the swampier areas that have like a Roughneck boat, they generally have other issues. They're generally very, very, very vague, basic boats that are meant to take damage, go over stumps, hit stuff, hit rocks, hit whatever, and like go through like rocks. Have you ever seen the mud motors? You see somebody with like 3 mud motors, and the mud motors are like tilling through rock in a super like low stream like this. You want to talk about skinny water? Like definitely different priorities for mud motors. We got a guy named Chris Simmons for Send It John Boats. If you guys are into mud motors and mud boats, duck boats, hunting boats, definitely check his channel out and give him a sub, because that's really all he does. He's right in the area in Georgia to do that. But anyways, guys, I got to get going. Thank you much. And EVA foam does not hold water. That's its other plat. It doesn't hold any water. Thank you. That's like the last thing for sure. After that, we're good. All right, thank you guys much. See ya.